Hello everyone, Shamna Lea from Goddess Creations welcome you lovely conscious creators to another episode concerning the Wheel of Life. We're on part 5 of the Wheel of Life sequence, let's say, and this is part 1 of Intellect. And I would like to just share a bit with you about this subject. Now, I would like to also say that I am very, very well aware that we have a lot of things going on. A lot of things are in our minds and we are always thinking a bit. Well, actually, that's part of intellect, isn't it? It's the thinking about things. And yet, even so many things are already in our heads that have nothing to do with really thinking, but just being bombarded with thoughts or ideas or opinions. Take social media, for instance. All of these prickles, let's say, coming into your brain, and you are then changing your course or deciding or creating a self-image that has to do with what these external influences have to tell you. Well, I would like to talk a little bit about the intelligence of choice, the intelligence of how you can stand in your life. What am I talking about? Well, let me just recap a bit. As I said, this is part 5 of the Wheel of Life sequence, and I'm just going to show you that picture. Once again, this is the picture that isn't the official picture I have. If you type wheel or send me an email with your desire, I can send you the real Goddess Creations version of this Wheel of Life that I have already created, and you can then download for your own, let's say, judgment of how do you score on these areas. What am I talking about? Well, the Wheel of Life has to do with, let me just grab a nice piece of paper. The Wheel of Life has to do with various areas of life that are part of how we show up in the world. We're talking about health and emotions. We're talking about character. We're talking about intellect, as we are talking about at this moment. We are talking about spirituality, love and relationships, parenting. We are talking about how you show up in work or what your career choices are, the quality of life and your life vision and your social life. Now, I don't know if I mentioned all 12, but those are the 12 areas that during the course of this year, coming a little bit more, a little bit less, we'll be talking about. Because when I am giving coaching, I do incorporate these areas in the healing process. Who am I talking to? I am talking to you. Lovely woman who is actually the workaholic, very hard-working woman who is always placing herself second. Well, seems she isn't aware of it, placing herself second best, always giving, asking so much of herself that actually, due to this, she has created an anxiety in herself, a feeling of maybe feeling alone. But not only that, and more importantly, she who has therefore created an chronic illness in her body, a long-term disablement, let's say of about at least 6 months. I'm talking to you because I recognize myself in that. I have been there too. So what then is intellect meaning to us? We, or you, may recognize that you are already in your head a lot of the time. You are already thinking a lot, maybe musing, lying awake at night like, oh, how am I going to take care of anything or this or that or the other? And so for us, the challenge is to slow down. Let me just step back a bit, because as I was preparing for this video, an old storyteller story entered my brain, which is it's a sequence from 1984, and I still have the books at home. But this story is about Master Tiger, and I'm going to share the link with you at the end of this video so that you can have a look at it yourself. Master Tiger and how he got his stripes, and how he was outsmarted by man to therefore get those stripes, because a man saw the base needs of the tiger, which was of course to eat him up, and man was smart enough to see this and to take action. That is what I am talking about. The ability to make a choice, to go into reasoning, to be clever. That is what, if you look it up, that is what intellect is about. Being able to do that inner reasoning, to see what is good, what is bad, what works for you, what does not, and then to make a conscious choice. So what are we talking about? There are many versions of intellect or intelligence. Now, you can say there are 7, there can be 9, there can be 12. I'm just going to mention a few, and you might recognize some of this. And I also want to say that at school or in our educational system, the emphasis is only placed on a few. You are only you know, you pass school with a good mark only if you have acquired a certain versions of intelligence, and other more creative energies of intelligence are put aside as being not worthy, or you can't make a living out of it and all of that. And these judgments tend to block us in our creative energy. So what am I talking about? I'm just mentioning a few. Word intelligence. So we're talking about linguistic, handy in your words, very good at speech, let's say. Math intelligence, being able to think logically and with reason, and numbers just make sense to you. It's like the magic of that is just so clear to you. Those are very strong parts that are important at school. But then you have physical intelligence, kinesthetic, where you are handy in your body or in creating, you know, strength, let's say. Actually, I might even add bodily beauty too. Musical intelligence, hearing a tune, being able to compose a tune, being able to sing. All of these beautiful things are an intelligence of themselves. You have people intelligence, where how you act with another person, how you can see that you can see the energies of what someone is about. You know, you might put psychologists into that as well. And then there is the self-intelligence. Now, I think you caught my smile there, because I love talking about self-intelligence as well, is what is going on the inside of you. How can you be your most ideal self? That's called intrapersonal, let's say. You have visual intelligence, where you are very creative in creating something beautiful, and creating something beautiful, or in imagery or artistic. That is such a fine intelligence in itself. Many people don't have that. And then there is another one, like the naturalist, the one that does understand the animals, does understand the plants, does understand those magics, like intuitively. So many beautiful intelligence versions are out there, and schooling only sticks to one or two. And if you as a person have a tendency to be intelligent on a different area, you might find yourself shut down, and that might block you and your self-image. You might think that you are not good enough. Yes, that is something I talk about a lot, about us not feeling good enough for the world. And it is not true. We are good as we are. We can cultivate our own self as we would like. So that's only that part of intelligence. Now, to keep yourself in intelligence, and I'm talking about the health of intelligence, you have to know what you want to put in your brain. Because I've said this in my other videos as well. What you tell yourself, your body believes. What you let enter into your system, your body takes for true. So with regards to that, I mean, I have multiple sclerosis, which you may or may not know, but I've had multiple sclerosis for over 20 years. But I told myself very, very, very early on, I may have it according to the doctor, but I don't believe that my life is at end. I choose that I am in control of my body, my mental and my physical health, and the fact that he would say, you can't have children, or you will pass it on to your children. There are many people that have let their lives stop just because they believed that. No, because in the course of my own personal development, I have learned that the multiple sclerosis comes from something else, a different energy. Doctors have the tendency to try and fix the symptoms, and therefore in fixing the symptoms, they might create new afflictions. But the core behind the symptom, that is where the answer lies. I'm not going to go, well, in fact, I was about to say I'm not going to go into that too much more, but me saying that is already an example of intelligence, which is in the sense that do the research. Find out for yourself what is true and what is not. What is true and what is not. And then, even if you might Google it or look it up in a newspaper or whatever, ask your body what is true, because your body knows for real what is important, what is your inner truth, and take action on that score. Let that intelligence speak for itself. Use those other intelligences that aren't, welcomed at school. So what I'm inviting you to do is to learn new things. learn new things, and also therefore filter out those things that don't serve your brain. I'm talking about things that might bring you into an anxious state. If you feel a change in your body, slow down. Where did that feeling come from? That raised heartbeat, the hotter temperature. What's going on? Look at it. Be aware, because that's the beauty. When you are aware of something, it's less big and scary. So when you are aware of it, the power is taken out of it. Look at it, might be making you anxious, and choose to filter it away if that is what you don't want. Be aware of that. You have got the power. We have got the power to choose and create our own life. That is why my company is called Goddess Creations, because we are creations of the goddess, and everything we do is a goddess creation. That means you too, my darling. So what you may have is empowering thoughts. Hold on to the thoughts that serve you. A beautiful I am. I am smart. I am capable. I am open to letting abundance into my life. I am healthy. Whatever your I am is, whatever your limiting belief is, just turn it around. I didn't mean to go into the I ams, but how do you then, feed yourself? How do you give intelligence into your life? Read. Now, I must admit, especially if you are close to the burnout or your plate is so full, as I must really say mine does tend to be at times, where you might not want to be reading, sitting down and reading, especially if you are the woman that wants to always be busy and feels that she's not doing enough if she is sitting down just doing nothing. Maybe you might not want to do it that way by sitting down with a book, but then try and find that book in audio, so that while you are hoovering or shopping or driving, listen to that audio, because then you're absorbing the info or the intelligence, let's just keep it in that score, on that level for yourself in a different way, and it is entering, it will sink in. I'm not telling you to do schooling, I'm telling you to just choose. How do you want to look at your life? How do you want to create your life? And so part of it, in all of this, is that you are then deprogramming what you were taught before. The limited beliefs of maybe you are not smart enough, or you will not amount to much in life. If you don't believe it, if it makes you unhappy, if that is something that's somewhere in your body and you might feel unhappy about it, change that belief. You decide your life. Put something fresh into your mind. I know I have. So what I'm inviting you to do is, and I see you might have noticed that this is set up differently than the first 4 videos with regards to health, because then I was teaching you the basics of how to go through each of these various areas. This is just me sharing a bit about intellect, on what is it that you want to be putting into your brain, into your body. What is it that you want? You have the right to choose. And maybe you want to visualize that. How do you see yourself showing up in the world? Who are the people that can support you in having the right info in your body, in your life? I love this, and I want to share it more with you. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, because I love answering all of your questions. And once again, if you would like to download my Wheel of Life, and not that drawn version, but the Goddess Creations Wheel of Life, so that you can score yourself on the various areas of life to see where you are, 0 to 10, how you are scoring. You might then see what areas of life you might want to work on or doing very well at. Just type wheel in the comments below, or send me a message, and I will make sure that you will get that download, so you can download it and make your own personal Wheel of Life circle. I'm wishing you a wonderful day, and until next time, Shamna Lea, Goddess Creations. Enjoy thinking about your life. Bye.